Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're pulling back the curtain and looking at the playbook organizers use to take the absolute chaos of a massive sporting event and somehow turn it into a perfectly executed show.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the huge challenge itself, then dive into the 5-step framework that brings order to it all. We'll meet the army of people who actually make it happen, look at the event's 3 distinct timelines, and then we'll finish with what might be the single biggest decision an organizer has to make: the tournament structure.
All right, let's dive right in. Why does managing a big sporting event feel so, chaotic to begin with?
Just think about it for a second. You've got budgets to manage, complex rules, teams flying in from all over the world, equipment, venues, transportation, and thousands upon thousands of people. It honestly seems impossible. So how on earth do they keep the whole thing from just falling apart?
Well, the secret isn't some kind of magic wand. It's all about methodology. There's a really powerful management framework that takes all that potential chaos and funnels it into a structured, controlled, and predictable process. So what is this powerful game plan? Let's get into the 5 core functions that really form the backbone of managing any big event.
Now, what's so cool about this is just how universal these 5 steps are. It all starts with planning. That's the what, how, and when. Then you've got organizing, which is all about arranging your resources and figuring out who does what. Next up, staffing. Pretty simple. Get the right people into the right jobs. Fourth is directing. This is where leadership kicks in, guiding and motivating the whole team. And finally, you have controlling, where you're constantly checking your progress against that original plan. It sounds kind of simple, right? But the discipline to actually follow this process is what separates a smooth event from a total disaster.
Of course, that playbook is totally useless if you don't have the right people to execute it. And this is where the real army of organizers comes in, the committees.
Look, you can't have one person trying to do everything. It would be a nightmare. So, just like a sports team, where every single player has a specific position, the work gets divided up among these highly specialized committees. Each one gets a super clear mission, which makes sure that no detail, big or small, falls through the cracks.
And this list just brilliantly illustrates the level of detail we're talking about. You've got the obvious ones, right? Finance, transportation, but then you see something like the reception committee. Their only job is to make sure every athlete and official feels welcome. Why does that matter so much? Because a well-run event knows that an athlete who's stressed out or feels mistreated isn't going to perform at their best. That's the level of thought that goes into this.
Okay, so we've got the plan, we've got the team, now let's look at the timeline, because the whole event is broken down into 3 really clear phases.
You see, the work isn't just some mad dash to opening day. It's a whole life cycle. In that pre-tournament phase, it's all about preparation, setting budgets, creating schedules, getting the venues perfect. Then, during the tournament, the focus completely shifts to execution, running the ceremonies, managing the games, and keeping everyone safe. And it doesn't just stop when the final whistle blows. Then you've got the post-tournament phase, which covers everything from handing out prizes and paying officials to writing up the final reports.
Now for the final piece of the puzzle. Before any of this planning can even start, organizers have to make one absolutely crucial decision that shapes the entire feel of the competition.
That decision determines the fixture. The fixture is basically the master schedule for the whole event. It's the blueprint that lays out exactly who plays who, where they play, and when. And what that fixture looks like depends entirely on which of 2 main tournament formats you choose.
So this is the fundamental choice. Do you go with a knockout format, where the stakes are sky high because one loss and you're out? Or do you go for a league format, sometimes called a round robin, where every team is guaranteed to play every other team? And getting this wrong can be a total catastrophe. Imagine your star teams, the ones everyone bought tickets to see, getting eliminated on day 1. That could just crush ticket sales and TV viewership for the rest of the event.
This choice just completely changes the entire dynamic. A knockout tournament demands perfection right from the start. It creates that intense, do-or-die drama that's just amazing for television. A league format, on the other hand, is more of a marathon than a sprint. It tests consistency and endurance over a long period, which many argue is a better way to find the true champion. It's a huge strategic decision that defines the experience for absolutely everyone involved.
So, in the end, what looks like total chaos from the outside is actually a masterclass in management. It just goes to show you that success isn't about luck. It's about having a clear plan, a dedicated team, and a precise process. These principles, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling, they're not just for sports. They're a universal guide for managing pretty much any major project you might ever face.